back.
Got me a damn girl on my team.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe we have the best tag team in morning radio. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley. As the first black woman in Los Angeles to anchor a morning drive talk radio show, Dominique covers local politics like a blanket. Weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., Dominique passes the baton to Tavis Smiley, who talks to everybody about everything every day until 12 noon. KBLA's dynamic duo, Dominique and Tavis. It's no wonder the LA Civil Rights Department is honoring Dominique DePrima this year at its Tell Our Story honoring black journalist leaders and storytellers event, Thursday, February 8th. Or that the John M. Langston Bar Association of Los Angeles is honoring Tavis Smiley at its 47th Annual Installation and Scholarship Awards Gala with its Community Impact Award on February 10th. We couldn't be more proud of Dominique and Tavis, who make black history every day, not just in February. If you're missing Dominique and Tavis weekday mornings on KBLA Talk 1580, you're missing out. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Holla, yeah.
Hi-hat. 808. J.
Ready?
Let's go get 'em.
Come on. I used to run bass like Juan Pierre. Now I run the bass, hi-hat, and the snare. I used to bag girls like Birkin bags. Now back B.
Boy, you hurtin' that.
Brooklyn Bay, where they birthed me at. Now be everywhere, the nerve of rap. The audacity to have me with them curtains back. Me and B, she about to sting, stand back.
Baby, seem like everywhere I go, I see you. From your eyes, I smile, it's like I breathe you. Helplessly, I reminisce, don't want to compare nobody to you. Boy, I try to catch myself, but I'm out of control. Your sexiness is so appealing, I can't let it go. I can't get over you, 'cause everything I see is you, and I don't want no substitute. Baby, I swear it's deja vu. Know that I can't get over you.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. It is not deja vu, although it might feel like it because we're calling out the Grammys. Welcome in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. A little Beyonce to get us started. Deja vu this was the B-Day album this was on, right? Right. I know that is a lot of people's favorite Beyonce album. That and I think 4. Like, that's what not mine, but I've heard some people say that like is one of their favorites. I know 4, Sasha Fierce, and probably Lemonade, I think are the most popular ones now.
Not the first one.
So me personally, my favorites are Beyonce, Dangerously in Love.
Self-titled Beyonce.
The self-titled Beyonce, Dangerously in Love, and Renaissance.
That's
in no particular order. But, you know, I am Sasha Fierce. A lot of people go up for that. The 4 album and this, B-Day. You know?
Something wrong with people. I don't know. For me, it's the first one, and it's the Beyonce self-titled. That's me.
Those are my right there with you. Well, you know we're always on theme here, so we will be talking about Beyonce, Jay-Z, recapping all the things that happened at the Grammy ceremony last night. Plus, you know, I have the tea on a couple of the parties that went on this weekend. All of that, I'm going to let you into that. This, of course, is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture with me, your host, Jill Munroe. And as always, we have a lot to talk about. You know, Mondays are generally packed because the weekends, they deliver. They definitely deliver. So I hope yours was amazing. If you are on the West Coast, LA in particular, I hope you stayed dry in the atmospheric river. I'm ready for it to dry up and go home. I know we need it. The air is so clean. I love that. I know that we're going to have an amazing spring. So many flowers, blooming trees. I love that. However, all this skeeting around and the landslides and things of that nature, I'm not for that, but it's okay. A little bit for the green. For the, what is the word? I just blanked on the word. I was going to say economy, but that's not the word I'm looking for. For the ecology? No, I don't know. Andy, I'm blank. I just blanked out on the word I wanted.
I'm calling out the county of Los Angeles.
Wow.
Or shall I say the state of Los Angeles? Because I know up north, y'all got some issues too. But can we fix these stoplights? In other words, when it rains and it, our regular lights from our cars aren't enough. And I know, we can't really have our high beams on, but it's just difficult, obviously, when it rains to see the lanes. I'm calling out the county of Los Angeles to at least, let's have some brighter lights if possible, just to help us out during the rain.
I mean, it's a lot of things. I don't know. There was last year, I remember this huge pothole that opened up on La Cienega by Kenneth Hahn Park. Like, it looked like a small car. And I saw over the weekend, same spot opened back up again.
You're talking about on the hill?
Yes, going down the hill
That's
in the
not good.
innermost lane. I don't know. I'm sure by now that they have filled it, but it was the exact same space. And it's a huge, like, if your car hits that, it's your suspension, something, your axle, it's a wrap. Anyway, enough with the weather updates. Stay dry, stay cool, and enjoy it. So, always got to start with a couple of conversations. Wait, I didn't tell you what we're talking about tonight. Jay-Z, he called out the Recording Academy last night when receiving the Andrew Dr. Dre Young Global Icon Award. There's so much surrounding what he said, some commentary from people about him receiving the award to begin with, and all these other things. So we're going to recap the Grammys and get into that. Also, you Real Housewives of Atlanta fans are going to be saddened to know that Kandi Burruss is saying goodbye after 14 seasons. However, 2 former Atlanta Peach holders are said to be coming back. So I'm going to give you the scoop on all of that in hour 2. And over the weekend, we've talked about a lot, artist development, performance, things of that nature. Well, Ice Spice had a couple of performances over the weekend. And, there was a lot of commentary about her performance and whether or not it is old people not understanding that that's just her vibe, whether it's time for her to step it up. Well, a social media user commented, Ice Spice found the comment, and the situation probably did not go the way that she expected. We're going to get into that. Plus, we have conversation starters for you. I have those galore. First up, happy birthday to Bobby Brown and Cameron. Aquarius is in the house. Stand up. February 5th, got to shout out a member of the greatest R&B group of all time. I'm always going to remind you of that. Listen, on the other side, more conversation starters. We're going to get into this Grammys 2024 recap, plus more trending topics and headlines. All of that and more. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. 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 KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So the Grammys took place last night, the 2024 version. And you know, for the most part, over the past few years, award show viewership has been going down. There's been tons of complaints about it, et cetera, no matter the award show. It's kind of been across the board. People are dissatisfied or have their complaints or whatever, but they continue on. Well, last night's Grammys, 17 million people tuned in to check out the Grammys. That is up from 12.4 million in 2023 and 8.9 million in 2022, right? Huge bump, okay? Go ahead, Andy. What you got to say?
I'm sure that a lot of those numbers are probably from the state of California since we were rained out.
Rained out and at home?
Yeah. I'm not hating on the numbers, but I'm saying that could be a reason.
It could be. I mean, I think that if you look back at it, though, this was a huge year for music. Obviously, we know the Taylor Swift effect. We're going to talk about her, right? But lost in a lot of this conversation, my personal, and if you don't know, Taylor Swift won Album of the Year. And there's been some controversy about it. A couple of things I want to clear up about some of that as well. So first and foremost, I think that SZA, SOS, should have got Album of the Year. That's my personal opinion. I think it crossed, across audiences. It broke through. I think that is what Album of the Year does. It's something that touches everyone in different ways. Andy, you often talk about how we don't have video countdown shows anymore. So a lot of where we would get our new music or just collectively know what's going on is lost. And when you think about that, right, even when you think about the pop songs of the past or the different things, there is no more TRL. There is no more, like back in the day, you would watch Soul Train, but sometimes you would watch American Bandstand if a group you liked was going to be on there. Same thing. You watched Rap City and 106 in Park, but you also watched TRL and Yo MTV Raps, right? So I think that because we don't see a mixture of really aware of, over there, the pop crowd, they really like that group. Why is it that we all know from the past Britney songs, we all have an NSYNC song? Really, it's because of things like TRL where we were watching both things. So I think that with that being missing now, one, we don't understand how impactful sometimes these other artists really are in their personal space in that area, right? Because as much as people want to say, Taylor Swift is whatever, she's mediocre, whatever, she certainly has a chokehold on an audience. They show up for her, they do numbers, they buy, and they support everything that she does. Not that album of the year is based solely on that. I'm just pointing out that she definitely has a fan base. We know obviously the numbers as far as the breakdown of races, but really, she seems like an eternal 19 or 20-year-old. I know she's mid-30s, but that is the vibe, very much cheerleader kind of crush, and it works for her, right? She has a decent pen game. I'm not saying, again, that I feel she should have won Album of the Year. I feel that should have gone to SZA, but that's one thing. So second, I know that there's a lot of controversy about her, not even acknowledging Celine Dion or what have you, but Taylor is aware. Her team must be on it because as soon as she got backstage, I guess she understood or someone told her, hey, you missed Celine, or maybe she realized it. I'm going to tell you this. Although I do believe she was excited and whatever, this is your 4th album of the year. Crazy. Stevie Wonder don't have that, Michael. It's a lot of people that don't. We'll get into that in a second. But, so, yeah, you're excited, but girl, whatever. Anyway, she and Celine hugged it up backstage, flicked it up so you guys can rest. Celine was bob with the bobbin. She was dressed fiercely from head to toe. Her stylist, La Roche, came out of retirement to work with her. So, slayed down. We love that. Andy, go ahead. I know you got something to say.
Yeah, because you just swept it under the rug. So are you telling me that she should have acknowledged Celine Dion?
I think, well, okay, let me say this, right? As Black people, right? In general, we are taught what? When you walk in a room, you acknowledge everybody. So, I mean, just from a manner's sake, I think if you're going upstage, that's not just when I say acknowledge, she just took the, award from her and kept it moving. Not even a thanks or a hey or whatever. I'm not like, oh my God, she's the worst person ever, but I am just like, girl, where are your manners? That's all.
Can we keep the same energy for everybody then if that's the case? I don't care if you're Celine Dion or if you're a D-list celebrity presenting
I believe
an award.
in speaking to everybody, though.
Let's acknowledge them because just because it's Celine Dion and I'm not saying that. Let's give Taylor Swift grace is all I'm saying. Like you said, she probably was excited. She got her award. She wanted to say her speech, and I'm glad that they they broke bread after. But I'm just saying, with anybody else, I don't care if it's Celine Dion or the D-list celebrity presenting the award. Can we have the same energy for anybody winning an award to acknowledge whoever's presenting? That's all I'm saying.
They should, but as people pointed out, that Miley Cyrus, who accepted her first Grammy ever last night, accepted from Mariah Carey, and she gave her proper due. I'm gonna tell you, Miley Cyrus was in her bag last night. She looked good. She had her Tina moment, and she was like, oh, don't act like you guys don't know this song. I heard that, Miley. Talk about it.
Also,
don't be too cool for school.
I'm glad that you put that out there because, us folk, we always have issues. Why we got to compare, Beyonce to somebody white? Well, you just compared white on white right there. I'm just saying, though, it happens. Black folk, it happens.
It does. I mean, I'm just saying, listen, it is what it is. We're going to be talking about it for a long time. Also, want to shout out, because, we're going to get to Jay-Z, Brandy performing with Burna Boy and 21 Savage. Brandy looked amazing. The vocal Bible was Bibling. I love that. What, Andy?
What was the significance of that performance?
Because his song is big right now.
Burna Boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He sampled Sitting on Top of the World.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's why
I'm lost.
He sampled it, so getting her to perform it with,
nice. Makes sense. And then 21 Savage, what is that all about? Is he on the song
I think
too?
maybe he's on the remix.
Okay. All right. For sure. Shout out to them then.
So, look, this is off Grammy, but J-Lo performed her new single with Lotto on Saturday night on SNL, and they had a little breakbeat with, what is the Redman song that they, I can't remember.
I'll Be That?
Is it I'll Be That?
I'll Be That.
No, I can't. I'm blanking on the name of the song, but Redman came out and performed it with them, his little part, of it Saturday night. So I think with that type of thing, it's fun to see. We have a lot of samples. We talk about samples a lot, but if you can see the original artist come out and sing it with this person and show unity, and I like it. It's cute. So go be Rocka. Let's see what else, because there's so very much. So very much. Listen, Miley Cyrus changed 5 times last night. And she was doing her thing out there. Okay, listen. Before we go deeper into all of this, let me let you know a couple of conversation starters. We're going to talk about 21 Savage tomorrow because he got caught up allegedly scamming some Twitch streamers with some marked cards. They were betting for money, and they're saying that 21 Savage scammed them out of, and I'm not talking little money. One guy, $250,000. The other guy, something like $250,000, $300,000. So we'll get into that, just giving you a little preview of that. And we're also going to talk about, I'm not sure if we'll get into it later tonight or tomorrow, but you know how Cheryl Lynn has been active all up and down Twitter and Instagram, quoting facts, talking about she was supporting Megan Thee Stallion. It was not, in fact, Cheryl Lynn. And the thing that's so crazy about this is that it was a guy. It was a guy. It was kind of exposed a couple of years ago when some beef happened on Twitter, which is now X, with Cheryl Lynn and Anita Baker. Right? And they were like, Cheryl Lynn doesn't have a Twitter account. But I guess everyone forgot about it, or the person went silent for a little while. But he came back with a vengeance and was trying to set up tiny desks with NPR and making announcements about it and making requests for vocal tracks without this and just causing a lot of havoc, but eventually was exposed. So both the Twitter and the Instagram account have been deleted. And, listen, I guess if your life isn't good enough, make yourself over as an 80s star and take on X, I guess. Okay, also, it's Black History Month, right? So, coming to Apple TV Plus on February 16th, you remember who Franklin is with the Peanuts? Franklin is the only Black Peanut. And so he has a new film coming, or special, I should say, and it's called Snoopy Presents Welcome Home Franklin. And it tells Franklin's backstory. They even correct the mistake that happened in the 1960s where for Thanksgiving, Franklin couldn't sit on the same side of the table with everybody else because of racism and all of that stuff back in the day. So they make up for that. If you don't know about Charles Schulz, he really fought for the Franklin character to be included in the Peanuts, wanted to show integration and things of that nature. So now, and he wanted Franklin actually to be its own comic strip. So now, what is this, 50, 60 years later, he has his own special coming on Apple TV Plus. February 16th. Make sure you lock in and check that out, or at least introduce it to your kids, your nephews and nieces, etc. All right, so I told you that I would give you a little tea about the Grammy parties over the weekend, and they were aplenty. We know that last week there was the Black Music Coalition's party where Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were honored. Victoria Monet had a party to celebrate her Grammy nominations. Congratulations to her. Clive Davis always has his Saturday night pre-Grammy party. And R&B Money, they had a party at Sawyer's Club in Hollywood that featured a bunch of live performances. SZA had her post-Grammy party last night. And even though the Rock Nation brunch was canceled, Jay-Z still had a party. So late for, I guess it was Friday night, or I believe Saturday night. It was actually Saturday night, pardon me, at Bird Street's Club in West Hollywood. Jay-Z threw a party. Of course, the Kardashians rolled through because they are friends of the Knowles Carters at this point. Kim was there with her I don't know if he's her boyfriend, but he kind of seems to be her boyfriend. Odell Beckham Jr., Quavo was there. He and Karrueche are rumored to be dating. She was there too. A bunch of others. So no Rock Nation brunch, but something a little more intimate. Now, if you watched the Grammys last night, you know that Jay-Z was honored with the Global Icon Award named after Dr. Dre, right? And in his speech, he kind of went after the Recording Academy, right? Now, some people obviously have a problem with it. They felt like this was neither time or space. Others are saying, why did he take away from his moment to address it? There's some others that are saying you guys should listen to Kanye West all those years ago when he tried to put a stop to Taylor Swift. But here's one thing I think is misconstrued. They even had a conversation about this on The View this morning. They said that Jay-Z took away from Taylor Swift's moment. It's impossible. How did he do that? Let me tell you how he couldn't have done that. Because he received his award before Taylor received her award of Album of the Year. And really, his breakdown, which, you know, we're going to listen to, it could have been for any number of people. I'm sure Nicki Minaj felt snubbed. Let's be 100. We know every year we all feel on both sides, no matter which lane you're in, that somebody has been nominated undeservingly in a category, right? Do you think that some country music fans don't feel that some of their artists have been snubbed or overlooked? That they should get more attention? Of course they do. So we're going to get into that. Before we do, let's get into some of these comments in the chat. Brother Alfonso says, the Grammy Awards are strategically placed with Black artists given certain awards to please us, given certain artist awards to please us, and ultimately set up for Miley and Taylor to win Record and Album of the Year, respectfully. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I certainly understand why you might feel that way. Kendi says, you forgot to mention that SZA's people knew Taylor was going to win and told her to go up on stage and acknowledge Taylor. Taylor did not feel the need to acknowledge SZA. That's embarrassing for SZA. I mean, you know, listen, there's a lot. DJ Black 909, these Black artists stay crying about a Grammy but never showing up at Black award shows as comedy. Definitely set the alarms about that, because the reality is, and we've talked about this numerous times, you need to value a Soul Train Award, a BET Award, an NAACP Award as much as you value an Oscar, an Emmy, or a Grammy. But we'll get into that on the other side. All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and Sports is up next.
Flow so unusual, baby girl, you should already know it's H-O, light up the throw, cause you gon' need help, try to study my bounce flow, what's the difference, one you taking vein while the other you sniffing, it's still dope, po, try to convict them, that's a no-go, my dough, keep the scales tipping like foes, like I'm from the H-O-U-S-T-O-N, blow, win, so Chicago of him, is he the best ever, that's the argument, I don't make the list, don't be mad at me, I just make the hits like a factory. I'm just one to one, nothing after me. No deja vu, just me and my.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The prosecutor behind Donald Trump's Georgia election interference case is responding to allegations of misconduct. Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis, in a court filing, admitted she had a personal relationship with an outside prosecutor she appointed to manage the case against the former president. The defendants in the case accused Willis, who is black, of benefiting financially by hiring special prosecutor Nathan Wade, her alleged romantic partner, for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and want the case to be dismissed. Willis said there's no evidence the relationship relationship prejudiced the case. A hearing on the allegations is set for February 15th. AMC Theaters is offering audiences discounted tickets to celebrate Black History Month. This month, the $5 Fan Faves program will return to AMC, and theaters will offer 2 daily showings of certain films for $5 a ticket. Each week will have a different select movie with discounted tickets. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Got me a damn girl on my team.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe we have the best tag team in morning radio. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley. As the first Black woman in Los Angeles to anchor a morning drive talk radio show, Dominique covers local politics like a blanket. Weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., Dominique passes the baton to Tavis Smiley, who talks to everybody about everything every day until 12 noon. KBLA's dynamic duo, Dominique and Tavis. It's no wonder the LA Civil Rights Department is honoring Dominique DePrima this year at its Tell Our Story honoring Black journalist leaders and storytellers event, Thursday, February 8th. Or that the John M. Langston Bar Association of Los Angeles is honoring Tavis Smiley at its 47th Annual Installation and Scholarship Awards Gala with its Community Impact Award on February 10th. We couldn't be more proud of Dominique and Tavis, who make Black history every day, not just in February. If you're missing Dominique and Tavis weekday mornings on KBLA Talk 1580, you're missing out. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Holla, yeah.
Do you have both Medi-Cal and Medicare?
If so, the new LA Care plan called Medicare Plus can help you get the most out of your health plan for $0.
LA Care provides personalized service to Angelinos like us.
Plus, it gives us access to doctors and specialists across Los Angeles County.
For zero cost, we get access to full benefits.
From vision coverage,
In-home support services,
To prescription drug coverage.
And a quarterly over-the-counter allowance.
plus personal equipment.
Meal programs.
A gym membership.
And so much more.
for more than 25 years,
LA Care has provided Angelinos with access to quality health care at an affordable cost.
For our families,
our seniors,
Our community.
it's a plus.
it's a plus.
For all of us.
If we're the ones disproportionately impacted by these climate catastrophes, why should we be silent? Turning up the volume all year long on the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Some people just know the best places to eat around town. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. They know exactly where to go to get exactly what you're wanting. They know where to find the spiciest hot pot, the gooeyest brownies, and the tenderest, most flavorful portobello steak. Those people also know that safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for all state auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I started vaping my freshman year of high school, mostly because all my friends had vapes. I wanted to fit in with them and look cool and be a part of everything that they were doing. The hardest part about quitting for me was all my friends still hitting their vapes right next to me. It was really frustrating and confusing when I was trying to quit because in my head I knew I didn't want to do it anymore, but for some reason my brain still wanted it.
No quit story is the same. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Who wants that perfect love story anyway? Anyway. Cliche, 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 cliche. Who wants that hero love that saves the day? Anyway. Cliche, 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 cliche. What about the bad guy goes good? Yeah. An innocent love I misunderstood. Yeah. Black hourglass, hourglass. Toast to cliches in the dark past. Toast to cliches in the dark past.
Boy meets girl, girl perfect woman. Girl get the bustin' from the cops, come running. Chuck the deuces, chuck the deuce, off the juice, say, boys the blue say,
I don't care if we on the run, baby, long as I'm next to you. And if loving you is a crime, tell me why I bring out the best in you.
Welcome back in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, we are talking the 2024 Grammys here. And if by chance you want to weigh in, hit us up, 800-920-1580. If you aren't already, hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm, of course, at Stiletto Jill. Say hi. Let us know your thoughts. So before we get into Jay-Z's speech, just a couple of hours earlier, Drake posted his thoughts about the Grammys on Instagram. And he basically said he included with it his Grammy speech from, I can't remember what year it was from. Maybe, let me see. I can't remember the year, I'm sorry. But it was one of, you know, the times he won. So he posted one slide with that speech, and what he said was, all you incredible artists, remember, this show isn't the facts. It's just the opinion of a group of people whose names are kept secret. Literally, you can Google it. Congrats to anybody winning anything for hip-hop, but this show doesn't dictate S in our world. And some people were like, oh, Drake is just having sour grapes, blah, blah, blah. You know, he says this because he lost last night, obviously. 21 Savage's album was up for Rap Album of the Year, which we know Killer Mike took. I was shocked. I am going to tell you that. Don't even know what song Killer Mike released last year. Don't even know what single they were referring to. But kudos to him. Congrats to him. But people felt like Drake and Jay basically said the same thing. Why is Jay being applauded by some and Drake not? And so a lot of the follow-up people had was because Jay said this in a moment of victory for himself. He took time to address and allude to the fact that sometimes the Academy gets it wrong. And not just sometimes, it seems to be a lot of the time as far as people are concerned. You know, there has to be a balance, but let me give you, there are 11 black artists who have won Album of the Year at the Grammys over this time span. Keep in mind that Taylor Swift has won 4 times. Now, here's the thing. I can't say, if she deserved all of them. I don't think this year. I think SZA's. I told you why. Because I feel like SZA's went across genres. It was something that a lot of people were aware of or knew about, kind of no matter what type of music was their home music. That's kind of, and not that that's not the same with Taylor Swift, but I just felt like it was different. At any rate, here's the one down. Stevie Wonder won in 74, 75, and 77. Michael Jackson won in 84, and he made history that night, obviously. 8 Grammys one night. Lionel Richie, 85. Quincy Jones, 91. Natalie Cole, 92. Whitney Houston, 94. Lauryn Hill in 99. She was the first hip-hop artist to win and the last black woman to do so. Outkast in 2004. Ray Charles in 2005. Herbie Hancock in 2008. And John Batiste in 2022. So there's a couple of things. You look at the years where it's Ray Charles, Herbie Hancock, etc. In those years, there was kind of a confusion as to what albums should be considered for album of the year. Is it contemporary? Is it contemporary pop? There's so many different categories that are kind of slotted around within the Grammys. The other thing to keep in mind, which is something that is just real life business, real life spill. The Recording Academy, these aren't fans. These aren't just regular people. These are the artists, the songwriters, the executives. So could there sometimes be some personal agendas at work? Perhaps. But again, it's an award that is from, in theory, your peers. So not a popularity contest. The same things that, just because a song is big in your circle doesn't mean that it translates to them. Now, granted, they did make an attempt to bring in more youth into the Recording Academy and go younger. I know Harvey Mason Jr., I believe, is the president of it. He was part of the Underdogs production team. His father, Harvey Mason, was in a famous group. Can't remember. But listen, let's listen to what Jay-Z had to say. And this is going to go a lot of different ways. So let's go.
Thank you very much. I usually say this is a sippy cup for Blue. But Blue's grown up now. She doesn't take sippy cups. And she has her own Grammys. First of all, thanks to Dr. Trey. Said he in the house. He's somewhere. Up there he is. Andre Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level, put us on covers, Rolling Stone, put us around the world, you and Snoop, all that y'all did, all the records y'all broke, so thank you for this. Honored to accept it, and thank you to the Black Music Collective for all the work that you guys do, scholarships for young creatives, and hopefully, I'm adding to, what you guys are doing out here. Obviously, it's great to have an award for such an icon. How far we've come with Will Smith and them, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, winning their first Grammy in '89, and boycotting because it wasn't televised. And then they went to like a hotel and watched the Grammys. I didn't even understand what it wasn't a great boycott. We're here. But then, '98, I took a page out of their book. I was nominated for Best Rap Album, and DMX had dropped 2 albums that year. They both were #1. Shout out to DMX. And he wasn't nominated at all. So I boycotted, and I watched the Grammys. I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right, at least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't gotta clap at everything. Obviously it's subjective because, it's music and it's opinion-based, but, some things I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work. Some of you gonna go home tonight and feel like you've been robbed. Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth. But outside of that, we got to keep showing up. And forget the Grammys for a second, just in life. As my daughter sits and stares at me nervous as I am. Just in life, you got to keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Forget the Grammys. You got to keep showing up until they give you all those accolades you feel you deserve. Until they call you chairman. Until they call you a genius. Until they call you the greatest of all time. You feel me? Thank you.
Listen, when we come forward, we're going to dissect that, get into more trending topics and headlines, and of course, we're going to talk a little Victoria Monet. All that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Watch out! You got me! The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So you heard Jay-Z's speech, right? And so for one, I think the very notion that one, he mentioned that he himself has boycotted the Grammys and didn't really do a good job of it, is acknowledging that, yeah, we say things sometimes and do the opposite, right? I think that is acknowledgement in some space that we know in a lot of ways we are bigger than this award, but because of what it represents, we still want that acknowledgement, right? I think that's what it boils down to. Because, once again, BET Awards, Soul Train, NAACP Awards, any number of smaller individual things have awarded them time and time again. And though I believe they're appreciative, they don't always give their presents, it's still something about the elusive Grammy Award, right? I also think that he wasn't just speaking about, he was speaking about Beyonce, but I think the point is, if this is not excellence, how do we know we're getting fair exposure for these others? I don't believe it was just about her. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel about that. In the chat, Kendi says, Beyonce throwing Kanye under the bus is an unforgivable sin. That was a critical moment in Black music, and the entire Black community is suffering for it today. I don't believe she threw him under the bus. I know Kanye's your guy. I think that as a woman, and Taylor was, pretty young at that time, early 20s, mid 20s, fairly young, she was mortified at that. And though Kanye may have been right, it seemed cruel and crass. So I don't feel like she threw him under the bus. I just feel like, Kanye's doing Kanye and sometimes doesn't care about the fallout. And that was one thing that we saw. Kendi continues, her lack of support shown to a Black man putting his neck on the line gave everyone license to gradually degrade all areas of Black culture. You were putting a lot on that one moment. I feel you, I understand, but I do not think that was the catalyst for people to start disrespecting Black culture. Those type of things, those type of mishaps were happening long before that one went down. Pretty Brown Mimi says, Happy Monday. I haven't watched the Grammys in years. Instead of craving the white gaze, why don't we just boycott the Grammys and enjoy all of these Black award shows? We talk about that often, but the reality is it is a prestigious award. It has been around for an extremely long time, and it represents across the board, at least in theory, the creme de la creme. And though we know that it doesn't mean a lot, it still feels, a dig to see someone constantly overlooking you and bypassing you. Andy?
I understand the whole prestige behind the Grammys, but I'm going to say it again. I'm with Mimi 100%. I think if, Black folk was just like, bump that, I want to win this Album of the Year BET Award or the Album of the Year, the Griot Award or something like that, Album of the Year NAACP, that will bring more value to that particular award on that particular award show. And in a lot of ways, I think the Grammys would definitely hurt from that.
I agree, but something is going on because I gave you guys the numbers and there definitely was a downward trend with it, and now it's back on the upswing. What I will say, there's been a lot of conversation about, they're not showing the Hip Hop Award, da-da-da-da-da-da. There have been years, because we just talked about, we've seen Kendrick accept awards on stage, right? We've seen Drake at various times. On various points throughout the years, they pick awards to pull from the telecast. I don't agree with it. And yeah, usually they're shorting us. That's a problem. But really, overall, a lot of the awards aren't telecast anymore because they wanted to make room for more performances, which is what the audience said they wanted to see. Now, why they seem to always choose our categories? Don't know.
No excuse. Especially with hip hop being the number one, I don't know if it is, but one of the number one genres in music all around the world.
Facts.
It should be televised. And I'm a little bit disappointed in Jay-Z because that Dr. Dre award, I think they obviously televised that, right? Mm-hmm. That to me was kind of like the hip hop award in a lot of ways.
Right.
I understand what the history and what he's done for hip hop, but that kind of somewhat, I don't want to say it took away from Killer Mike, but I think the way the Grammy folks are thinking, they're looking at it like, well, this is the Black Award.
Yeah, this
You know
is
what
the
I'm
Black
saying?
moment of the night.
You feel me?
100%.
And the award itself is actually black. What more do you want from us?
I mean, and Jay did take a sip of his champagne out of that. I kind of like that moment. Cute. Thought about sanitary issues, but cute. Shout out to brother Alfonso. Hey, I am Jill, but I appreciate you. He said that they think the ice is colder syndrome. I mean, I think that we look at it, seems like to a degree, every time we complain about that stuff, I don't know if we think it's colder, but I do think that we want that acknowledgement, whether we are truthful about it or not. And, you know, it is what it is. Listen, we're going to have more on this topic. I have a lot more to add, but really quick, you know that we are your information, your election information station, KBLA Talk 1580, right? And we've just released our first ever survey of Black LA County voters. Why can't I talk tonight? So what you need to know is that the groundbreaking results highlight what the average LA County Black voter feels in our community. So some of the points, some of the key things that you need to lock in on is that the LA County District Attorney's race, it's wide open. The Black community's views on crime, criminal justice, and other key issues that aren't being addressed by the DA candidates, we need to see it. You will also find all the unique results of this very, very important political poll of what Black voters in Los Angeles are likely to be voting on at our website, KBLA1580.com. While you're there, make sure that you check out all of the candidates that we have interviewed thus far. And, you know, take a moment, fill out that climate justice survey, right? Nowhere in Southern California is another station taking to these issues and covering this election like we are. You know that KBLA is unapologetically Black. We got your Black, and we are here for you. So head over to KBLA1580.com and take a look at that survey, because there's a lot of important information there, and you can check in and see what your peers are looking at more and more. All right, listen. When we come forward on the other side, we're going to get into more stories from the Grammys, more conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about Victoria Monet, because obviously she is manifestation in motion. We're also going to talk about Candy Burst leaving Real Housewives and who's coming about that Lakers win Saturday night, and where there's some subliminal messages being sent out there in New York with the Knicks towel and things of that nature. We're going to get a little bit into that. Steph Curry dropping 60. And, of course, it's Black History Month. So I have a little RSVP Black History facts that I'm going to drop on for you, new and old. So all of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm an outlaw, got an outlaw chick. Bumping Tupac on my outlaw hish. Matching taxes, ink don't come off, even if rings come off.